Hello, guys. Mello again here. I've been ranking these days and noticed that there are players at Mammoth and up, still lacking a bit in game sense. Game sense is a very important thing to have as you rank up. Having good game sense allows you to turn things in your favor when things turn bad. However, there are many players who choose to rank up without developing their skills and game sense. And it can be very troublesome to have these players on the team because they usually need to be carried. Perhaps you are also one of them and you're now wanting to learn how to be a good teammate. Or maybe you are in a team and you want to learn how to work together effectively. Don't worry, I'll teach you some tips that has helped me and my team win our matches. Do you have any weak kiters on your team? If you have voice communication, and you're playing a strong character, or if you're confident you can kite well as the first kiter, purposely fail your first calibration. You can then inform your teammates who the hunter is and where they're heading. This will give your teammates a head start.
Hey, the hunter is Geisha. She's going towards the 2-story building.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm nowhere near the hunter.
If you so happen to be a rescuer, and a hunter comes to your cipher first, try not to get spotted immediately. Make the hunter search around the area. This can frustrate some hunters, once they realize they've been wasting their time looking, only to find that their first target is a rescuer like mercenary or wildling. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic. Sometimes too, survivors spawn near each other, and there are times when the hunter goes to their spawn point. Typically, you'd want to split up. However, there are some stubborn players who insist on decoding the cipher that's right next to the kiter who's kiting the hunter. I get it, you don't want to waste time trying to find another cipher. But you'll be wasting the kiter's time if you choose not to transition away from their kiting area. And why, you ask? If the hunter decides to chase after you, and you find you're not able to kite the hunter as well as the first kiter did, well, you could become a big liability to the team. And then, instead of 3 ciphers, there are only 2 ciphers done. Often, people would tell their teammates to get away from the area where they are decoding. But sometimes it's just unavoidable. They need a new kiting area, and there's nowhere else for them to go but toward your cipher. If it's early in the game and your teammate needs the kiting area next to your cipher, just go and decode another cipher. Honestly, it won't cost you much, except perhaps your teammate's life, because you didn't want to give them the kiting area that would have helped them survive. But if decoding another cipher is not an option, you can just hide near your cipher and wait till the kiter is able to transition safely away from the area. And here is a little something for players who use Flywheel. For those who have watched the first part of this video, do you remember when I said you can find out when the hunter's skill is ready with the surrender button cooldown? Well, you can also know when their skill is ready with the Flywheel cooldown. Alright, now I know I've said that rescuing at 5 ciphers can be good, but there are times that it's best to sell your teammate, and here is why. If your teammate got terror shocked, or got down too early in the game before the hunter's skill is ready, just don't rescue. Especially if the hunter is a strong camper. Your teammate won't be able to do a rebound kite if the hunter has blink. You can still rescue them after half, but then there's probably no point in rescuing if your teammate can't kite for more than 5 seconds. You're just giving the hunter presents. The hunters that are very difficult to rescue from are Hell Ember, Feaster, Bonbon, Naiad, and Wax Artist. But there are times when you need to rescue your teammate, even if the hunter is a good camper. Because some hunters have good map pressure to harass survivors who are decoding. So if these are the hunters that you are going against, at least try to rescue your Chad teammate, even if they didn't kite that long. These hunters can really punish you if you choose to sell your teammate. Now, the reason why survivors' kites get cut off too early is because of blink. And there are some ways you can predict when the hunter will use it. And you have to really pay attention to the hunter's movements. If you see them walking against an obstacle, they are most likely going to use blink. And some hunters will stand behind the pallet, between the two of you, waiting for their blink cooldown to use it. So think first before you vault that window or pallet, or else you could get terror shocked. This also applies when rescuing your teammate. Sometimes you'll see hunters camping the chair from a height, and usually what this means is that they want to get a hit on the rescuer with no recovery animation. Some hunters will attempt this at the basement, so be mindful of what the hunter is doing. Also, did you know that emotes can come in handy? Yes, they can, especially when you want to mind game the hunter. If you have an emote that's similar to the animation, for when you're using your skill, try using it. If you're lucky, you could waste the hunter's skill. Now, for harassers who want to balloon rescue a teammate, here's a tip. If you rescued your teammate with Tide Turner, when they are on last effort, look at the Tide Turner cooldown. Position yourself before the hunter can pick up your teammate. If someone else did the rescue, ask the rescuer or the rescued teammate how long until Tide runs out if you have voice communication. The next tip I'll be giving is something that can really slip through people's mind. If your injured teammate goes to you for a heal, and you have Nightmare's Crow on you, wait for the crow to disappear before you heal your teammate, just in case the hunter teleports to you and chases after your injured teammate. The next one I'll be talking about is one of my biggest gripes. Don't expect the rescuer to do all the rescuing. When your rescuer has wanted order, please, don't expect them to rescue. The hunter can see them from afar and will likely try to hit them before they can get anywhere near the chair. so help your rescuer by doing the rescuing. Besides, you might want the rescuer to rescue when the hunter has full presence. But there are times when you will need the rescuer to rescue a teammate twice. When you know that you cannot prime the last Cipher machine after your teammate is rescued a second time, let the rescuer rescue that teammate again. That way, the teammate with no decoding debuff can prime the last Cipher, while the rescuer is supporting the dead-on-chair teammate. I may have already said this before, but please assist your dead-on-chair teammate after rescue, especially if you can prime the last Cipher before the hunter can send your teammate back to the manor. But what if you're the dead-on-chair teammate and you're on last effort after the last Cipher pop? Well, here's something you can do. Bring the hunter to the basement. If the hunter follows you to the basement, this can really buy your teammates some time to open the gates. Here's a little side note. Don't get terror shocked while you're on Tide Turner. Your borrowed time won't activate if you got double hit. And if you're playing solo, your teammates won't know if you got terror shocked. Unless you're standing right in front of them. So if they pop the last Cipher, not knowing you got double hit, you don't have anyone else to blame but yourself. Also, if the hunter tries to down your teammate with their skill instead of a basic attack, pop the last Cipher. It's much better for your teammate to tank a skill hit at full health than to get downed and hit after the pop. Let's say breaking wheel switch to wheel form, or smiley face used their dash. Just pop the last Cipher. And if the hunter uses abnormal on the last Cipher machine, just pop it. You still can, even when the hunter is in the middle of abnormaling the Cipher. Honestly, it's much better to pop it than having the whole team go through the trouble of decoding a whole other Cipher. So now, what do you do after the last Cipher is popped? Of course, you open the gates. But there is something you should know about that. It is always much better for you and your teammates to open separate gates. Because if you're all waiting at one gate and the hunter teleports, then the whole team could go down and it's game over. If you're decoding separate gates and the hunter teleports to one of you, then the other teammate can rescue the chaired teammate. So if the kiter goes down, it's okay because you can still draw. And here is one of my last tips for you. Let the rescuer open the gate. Your best choice to open the gate would be a full health mercenary. Because if they get chased, they won't get downed immediately. Especially if they still have elbow pads. Which brings me to my next point. Unless you were the first kiter, Learn to conserve your resources for endgame. You never know. You might end up needing it if the hunter chases after you or teleports to your gate. And if you're playing a rescuer, or someone who can tank a detention hit. If your teammate hasn't opened their gate, and the hunter is going their way, bait the hunter into chasing you.
Novelist, can you still take a hit? I think the hunter is heading towards your gate.
No, I won my last life. If I get down, I'll die.
I'll try to bait the hunter to chase me. You escape through the gate. I'll take the dungeon.
Sometimes you don't have to bait the hunter into chasing you. If there's 3 of you and one of you is chaired, you can trick the hunter into thinking you will rescue. Now this one can be risky, but if you're playing a survivor like Mercenary, give the hunter tinnitus while they're camping a chaired teammate. They're unlikely to teleport to your other teammate's gate if they know someone could rescue the person on chair. I hope that this video has helped you somehow. I would love to know how this has changed your gameplay in any way. Good luck with your matches. I hope to see you again in the next video.